Hey guys, it's Mayhem Kitten here. So this vlog, the purpose of this vlog is more of a tool for me to conquer writer's block. So what I'm going to be doing is showing or telling snippets of the story to see, if anyone likes it enough that they'll, oh hey, you should totally keep writing on that one, or that probably wouldn't work. So it's more of a tool than anything else, so that I can kind of figure out where I'm going with it, So the first one is going to be something a little on the weird side. I'm not usually into this kind of thing, but I'm gonna see where it takes me. So one night I was smoking a cigarette, only to follow the pillar of smoke to the moon. It seemed smaller than usual, but brighter despite being significantly smaller. Before I ran inside to grab my camera and my phone, I placed a cigarette on the brick wall lining my patio. In the process of calling my buddy to see if they had seen the same thing, he couldn't understand how the moon appeared half its size. Was I going mad? He sure seemed to think so. I hung up the phone and huffed as I finished my cigarette. As I threw the butt on the ground, I looked up again and noticed the moon had returned to its normal size, but it was higher in the sky. I looked up online the phases of the moon for the month to find out it was supposed to be a new moon. That means I shouldn't have been able to see it at all. I stood up straight and noticed the light from this phantom moon had disappeared, and I was shrouded in darkness. More angry than worried, I walked outside. I turned on the television set, and breaking news flashed on the screen. There's been a large object in the sky unidentifiable even by a military. After 10 minutes of examining the light, it crashed on the farm, and police have been searching for it ever since. And only an indent has been found. No signs of mysterious phenomenon have been indicated. With validation, I went into the kitchen to get a drink. I looked outside the window and I saw glowing in the distance. I had a bad feeling in my stomach. It was in my best interest to stay away. I went to my room to lie down, and after an hour of tossing and turning and staring at the ceiling, I decided to go to my laptop. I looked up the article and found that it had multiple people reported the light, and it was carefully noted that the object has actually been tracked for several months. It was only just noted because the new moon was tonight, or a couple weeks, and it had been noted because it was a new moon that night. I looked through the countless videos of bystanders and noticed they had zoomed to see something octagonal in shape. There was a flood of responses that filled the screen. I was glad to see I wasn't going crazy. But I could hardly believe that something could be shrugged off. While watching the news, the caster nonchalantly reported on this oddity. I rolled in my bed nervously. I stared at the ceiling, expecting to hear a bang outside my window, or feel an energy force I couldn't explain. I was greeted with nothing more than silence, as I sarcastically made funny faces at my television. I was fast asleep before I was awoken by the most annoying buzzing sound. The darkness was eased by the lamp that I had left on, and the television that was now some stupid infomercial. My first thought was it was a dream spilling over to my awakened state. I glanced around the room and sat on the side of my bed and waited for something to happen. I was slightly disappointed when the silence filled my room. I got up, looked up at the window. I lived on the second floor of an apartment complex that was nearly on the base of a mountain. To the left was nothing but the slope of the mountain. To my right, however, was a beautiful view of a darkened field. Being in rural Montana, you half expected the industrial city to encroach on farmland. The field was barely illuminated by residual lights from the stars and a simple street lamp that didn't seem to belong there at all. I saw nothing alarming. I closed my blinds, but before I turned around to my bed, I felt eyes piercing through my being. I'm not afraid of ghosts, I said loudly. I sat on my bed dramatically before curling under the large quilt and stared at my phone for another hour before considering sleep. It was only 2 in the morning, and I didn't have work. What better way to spend your day off? The next day greeted me with the bright sunlight peeking through my window. I did not find this odd. I did find this odd, though. I closed my blinds before I fell asleep. I brushed it off, thinking that it was something that I had done in the middle of the night. Usually I'd perform odd tasks before going to sleep. I forgot about the event. By noon, my roommate, Michelle, returned from work. "How'd you sleep?" she asked, in her usual vibrancy. I rolled onto my back, facing the door, as she approached and plopped on the armchair. "I slept fine. Just out of curiosity, did you open my blinds this morning?" Michelle thought for a moment and shook her head softly. "No, I went straight to work at 5 in the morning." She shot me a quizzical look, asking a question without saying a single word. "Are you sure you didn't do it without realizing?" I shrugged with a grin and rolled onto my side. The television was playing a movie I wasn't interested in. "Whatever," I said, before sitting up. "How was work?" Michelle rolled her eyes as she usually does to imply an outrageous incident. I was doing my usual work of bussing tables when this guy came in and made a huge fuss about his service being so horrible he was taking his business elsewhere. Long story short, we called the police to escort him out, and he punched my manager. "Wow, some people," I said as my voice trailed off. Her story continued, but I unintentionally tuned out because I heard a faint sound. While honing in on this gentle rapping, Michelle fell silent when she became aware of it also. From the hallway, I watched a shadow shrink out of view. After a quick search of every inch of the hallway, including both bedrooms, the bathroom, and even the kitchen that was connected to the living room, which was the rest of the apartment, Michelle thought I had lost my mind. I stalked toward her room. "Kelly, are you okay?" Michelle said softly. I could hear her choke back a chuckle. "I saw a shadow," I said, as I emerged from the hallway. Michelle paled as she stared. "What do you mean?" she said flatly. "There was a shadow, like someone was standing there, but it disappeared." Michelle tensed. "I don't see anything, so it could have been an illusion." "Have you checked the windows?" I inhaled sharply as I realized I hadn't checked. Michelle rushed to her room as I did to mine and proceeded to fumble with the window. I threw open my closet and flailed my arms around the shirts and dresses. There was a comfort in not finding anything. Michelle exited her room and entered mine. My windows locked and undisturbed. -2, I said as I faced her. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what else to do with this. I have a couple ideas, but I'm really not going to write anything further on it until I kind of figure out what I'm going to do. I'm kind of thinking about hyper-intelligent extraterrestrials that come and tell them the meaning of life. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So what do you guys think? I am absolutely interested to hear what you guys think about it. It has potential, but yeah, I don't know where to take it. You guys decide. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe.